The Arab Christians have done this as a challenge to the Quran. Listen now, to the non-Arab, you can't judge, wallah. Because now the words are from the Quran. The words are from the Quran. They're using for their own now, but it's not the language of the Bible. It's insipid. There's nothing in it, insipid. Even to the Arab, he realizes that there's nothing in it. Even the Arab Christian recognizes that there's nothing like the Quran. But so now, to compete with the Quran, you copy the Quran. So when you copy the Quran, you begin. Every chapter now begins. Of the Christian Bible, every chapter begins. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And this is competing with the Quran to say, look, we produce something. I said, you are stealing from my book. You are cribbing, you are stealing, and now you're saying, now look, this is like the Quran. Every chapter now begins with Bismillah, and the fellow does. You see, when we take the Quran, you open every chapter, it says Makkiyah, Surah, Makkiyah or Madaniyah. That this surah was revealed in Makkah or in Medina, in Makkah or in Medina. So they do the same. They do the same. So they say these surahs now, they say this is Maqdisi. Maqdisi. Maqdisi means Baitul Muqaddas in Jerusalem. Nowhere in the Christian Bible, anywhere, have they got this sort of thing now. Then the words I have marked in green. Everything is from the Quran. What they do, they call this new science. This is the new science. They call it contextualization. Contextualization. It was a new word for me. You see, they had given with this book secret instructions. That this must not fall into Muslim hands, the instruction book. But Allah is Musabbibul Asbab. If you are in the field, the things that come to you are unimaginable. So where did you get it, Mr. Deedat? I said, don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. Look, Allah Bari Ta'ala, He sends it. Because you are in the field. This is His job. That if you are working for Him, things keep coming your way. That means now you are prepared. Allah is preparing you beforehand. He's preparing you beforehand. He said, look, because otherwise it takes you off guard. He says, man, it sounds like the Quran. Could it be that they invented it? No. They're copying from Surah Maryam. You read there, Zikru Rahmati Rabbika Abdahu Zakaria. So they start here. The same style, they copy the Quran. It says Zikru Ta'budi Zakaria. Now the person doesn't say maybe, something, but it sounds similar. Then Al-Muttaqeen, Wa Ma Kana, Shaykhun Kabir, Lidkhul al-Mihrab. All these are phrases from the Quran which they are putting in the New Testament to catch the Arab fish. That this Arab fellow, ignorant Arab, he will fall for this. So naturally, the Arab who understands is mispronouncing so many things. He reacts. He was lucky, that there was an exit from the back. Otherwise, I feared for him. Some of the things I didn't mention, something that you can remember, that the book that he gave me in the previous debate, you were there, ya Sheikh. He gave me that green parcel. He said, we Arabs, when we are taught that when we go to meet a friend, we don't go empty-handed. So he's got a point. Look, the Muslim went empty-handed. He came along with this parcel, he gave it to me. But he didn't know what he was doing. This is Allah's way. This Bible is one of the most valuable Bibles you can get. This is what is called a red letter Bible. Red letter Bible. Everything that Jesus spoke is in red. Easy for you to find. You know how much easy it makes for us now to talk to them? With this Bible. Red letter. Whatever Jesus said is in red. So let's say we accept that is Injil. Let us say that every word that Jesus spoke that is in red is we accept. For the sake of argument, we accept. So I said, let's have a look. What did Jesus say? You say the New Testament is the Injil? He said, yes. So well, let's have a look. The New Testament has 27 books. 27 books. Out of the 27, in this particular one, 21 out of 27 has not got a red dot or a dash or a doodle. Not even a scribble. Not even a smudge. Not even a red smudge. 21 out of 27. How many percent is that? You work it out. Then in the New Living Bible, also red letter, 23 out of 27. There's not even a red dot or a dash or a doodle. And you say this is the Injil. You say this is the Injil. You didn't even quote Jesus. Leave out Jesus, God talking to him. But you didn't even quote Jesus in 23 out of the 24 books. He is not even quoted, not even once. And you say this is the Injil. However, in this so-called Injil, in this particular one, and there are many other Bibles, you find that Jesus is made to do funny things, silly things. I'm only reading from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 21, verse 7. I didn't have chance to read it there. I read it for you. It says, they brought the donkey and the colt, laid their clothes on them, on the donkey and the colt, and set him on them. They made Jesus sit on them, 2 donkeys at a time. I said, what, this man is an acrobat or circus? What is he doing? Look, there's no misprint here. In the King James Version, you read, they set him, one man, on them, on the 2 donkeys. Can you imagine a Jesus riding 2 donkeys at a time? God revealed that. On them, is there. No, it's little wonder that today there are people in the world who think that Jesus was a myth. Coming to our subject, myth, a fairy tale. Things that they speak about him and things that happened in his time. That people came out of the graves. You remember I told you at the meeting there. In the Gospel of Matthew, that Jesus, when he was crucified, the graves opened up and the people came out of the graves and they walked the streets of Jerusalem, left, right, left. People, what, they were wearing napkins or skeletons? What? When you come out of the graves, after having slept there for 50 years, 100 years, what do you come out with? And they walked the streets of Jerusalem. Full stop. Full stop. What happened to them? What did they do? Nothing. Who saw them? Nobody. Out of the 27 books of the New Testament, only Matthew saw. Can you imagine? 26 books, there's not one word of such a stupendous happening. People in London or Birmingham coming out of the graves and walking the streets. And nobody sees. Wallah, it will be world news. No? Even in some village in England, if this thing happened, it will be world news. The whole world will know by satellite. Everybody knows that, in certain little town or village in England, the people came out of the graves and walked the streets. And then what did they do? What did they do? They went back to sleep again? Can you imagine? You came out of the grave. Let's say it was you. You came out and you march with the group. And what do? Go back and sleep? Wouldn't you like to go and see your wife and children? Huh? So the people say, look, the world says that Jesus was a myth. This is a fairy tale. There is no such thing as Jesus. We believe that he was a reality. He was a historical person. And we need no proof. Allah Bari Ta'ala testifies to this in his holy book, that there was a woman called Maryam, and she bore a son without any male intervention. As Allah says in the Holy Quran, our Qari read from Surah Al-Imran.
This is why he didn't marry.
Yeah, we'll answer all your questions, inshallah, at the end of it. Why he didn't marry? Poor man, they didn't give him a chance. They didn't give him a break. The Jews didn't give him a break. From Surah Al-Imran, verse 52, our Qari was reading, and he read, Inna mathala Isa inda Allahi kamasali Adama khalaqahu min turabin thumma qala lahu kun fayakun. The similitude of the example of Jesus in the sight of Allah is like that of Adam. Khalaqahu min turabin, Allah created him from dust, and he says, kun fayakun, and he was created. So in other words, like Adam was a man, he is a man. And this is the testification of the Bible. Also, 83 times in the so-called New Testament, in the so-called Injil, 83 times, you read the title, Son of Man, son of man, son of man. In Arabic, Ibn Adam, Ibn Adam, Ibn Adam, son of man, son of Adam, Ibn. 83 times he's described as the son of man. What is he? He's a man. He's not a myth. We believe that he was a real historical person. Or was he God? Our subject is man, myth, or God. Now, Thomas Carlyle, I think it must have been in this very London in 1840, a Britisher, I don't know whether it was English or Scotch, Thomas Carlyle, recognized as one of the greatest thinkers of the past century. Thomas Carlyle, in his lectures, he chose our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his hero prophet. And he begins his lecture to his Anglican audience by saying, in the history of the world, there will not again be any man ever so great whom his fellow men will take for a god. In other words, mankind has reached such a standard, such a level of intellectual understanding that they will not accept another human being as God. That's what he says, Thomas Carlyle. In other words, suppose I, Ahmed Deedat, start flying in this room here like a bird. I can walk on the water. I can give life back to the dead. I can tell you what you got in, how much you got in your pocket, and I can give you every number of every notes that you have in your pocket. Will you accept me as your God? No, the mind says, no, man. So how does he do it? I say, look, I don't know. You say, I don't know. You know, he's got some magic powers. Maybe he's got some jinns under his control, and they go and tell him, oh, there's some other setup going on between this guy and whatever I'm telling you. But when you look at the man, he says, no, this is the man. I can see this man is about 70 years old. Before 70, he wasn't here. After, he won't be here for another 70. That's guaranteed. If I had a gun, I can shoot him. I can strangle him. No. All these thoughts go through your mind. He's a man, he's a man, he's a man. Now mind what he can do. What great performer of miracles the man he is, but he is no God. This is the intellectual level that mankind is supposed to have reached. He says, he assumes that this is what mankind is now. No more. Then he says, how did it happen? That people are accepting human beings as gods. He says, nay, we may rationally ask. Thomas Carlyle says, nay, we may rationally ask, did any set of human beings ever really think that the man they saw there beside them, a god, the maker of this world? Did they, any set of human beings at any time in the history of man, the people who abducted Sita, you know, Rama, the god of my ancestors, his wife Sita was abducted by Ravana, the king of Ceylon. Did he think when he abducted, going on between this guy and whatever I'm telling you, but when you look at the man, he says, no, this is the man. I can see this man is about 70 years old. Before 70, he wasn't here. After, he won't be here for another 70. That's guaranteed. If I had a gun, I can shoot him. I can strangle him. No. All these thoughts go through your mind. He's a man, he's a man, he's a man. Now mind what he can do. What great performer of miracles the man he is, but he is no God. This is the intellectual level that mankind is supposed to have reached. He says, he assumes that this is what mankind is now. No more. Then he says, how did it happen? That people are accepting human beings as gods. He says, nay, we may rationally ask. Thomas Carlyle says, nay, we may rationally ask, did any set of human beings ever really think that the man they saw there beside them, a god, the maker of this world? Did they, any set of human beings at any time in the history of man, the people who abducted Sita, you know, Rama, the god of my ancestors, his wife Sita was abducted by Ravana, the king of Ceylon. Did he think when he abducted this woman that he was abducting the wife of his god? Did he? No. When the Pandavas went to fight Krishna, did they think they're fighting a god? No. When the Roman soldier punched Jesus in the stomach at the trial and says, come on, prophesy, who hit you? Come on, tell me, what's my name? Did he think that he was hitting his God, punching his God? No. When the other soldier supposed to have lanced him on the side with a spear, did he think he was lancing his God? The answer is no. The contemporaries, how did it happen? He says, no, The way is, we are now living 2,000 years after the event, and people, when they read these stories, it sounds like fairy tales. This is, man, it could have happened. You know, he was floating about, here, there, everywhere. You know, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Like Ahmed Deedat. You know, I was here about a week ago. You know that? No, that's 19th of June. It seems like yesterday, no? See? And then he said, look, the guy was there, and he was here, and he was in Birmingham. And but you know how it's happening. He says, I left Birmingham this morning, I came here, I'll be back again tonight, tomorrow I'm in Blackburn, and next night I'm in Bradford, and then I'm back home, and I'm here, there, and back again. But now you know how it's happening. I'm not a ghost. I'm not a spook. Look, I need transport, this, that, everything to make all these things possible. But to a man who's trying to say, well, I saw him in Birmingham yesterday, man. I said, no, I saw him in Bradford. The other guy said, I went through 5 countries in one day by car. And back, 5 countries I went through in one day. Can you imagine? It was in the UAE. So I was traveling with a car from Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Sharjah to 5 countries. There are 7 little states, city-states. I went through 5 countries in one day and back again. What was I? A spook? A ghost? No. I said, look, this is how I went in a car, good car. I was going to do a certain job at the end of this UAE, and I had to come back again. So, but now, when you are reading the stories, like a fairy tale in the book, the Bible, is like a fairy tale. So when you read something like a fairy tale, you have a right to assume that this is myth. It's a fairy tale. Jeffrey Hunter, I don't know if you know his name, Jeffrey Hunter, he acted as Christ in one of these films called Jesus, no, this is The Day of Triumph. That was a film about Jesus. He had to walk up the hill. They took this shooting, they did it in Jerusalem, Mount Zion, outside Jerusalem. And for the filming, they had to make him to walk up the hill. And he walked up the hill and panting for breath and sweating. He's a Christian, good Christian. When he went through this, acting Christ, he said, you know, for the first time in my life, I realized how human Jesus was. That, look, if he walked these hills, he must have also been panting for breath and sweating. Like, then I realized that how human Jesus was. Otherwise, you think he is a Superman. Something more than Superman, what Superman does on your films, you know, Superman 1, 2, and 3. This Jesus was doing all that sort of things, you know, like a mythology. So, the Quran comes to testify. In the ayah I read to you, from Surah Nisa. Surah Nisa. And it is a good practice, I'm suggesting, recommending to my brothers and sisters, that when anybody makes reference to the Quran and he gives you the reference, make a habit of going home and checking up. Not that you distrust the speaker, you think the guy is pulling a fast one on you, he's lying. No. If you go and check it up at home, you read it again, you'll refresh your memory, and that part of knowledge which you are rehearsing, it'll become your property. Once it becomes your property, you can share it with others. Otherwise, this is good entertainment. This is all good entertainment. Good entertainment. Instead of wasting time in front of the TV, this is better TV, you see, do that in live, you see. But now, check up. So I said Surah Nisa. And for the bulk of the people, Muslims, non-Arabs, it's very difficult to find surahs in the Quran. Surah Nisa. Where will you find it? In the Mashhaf, in the Arabic Quran, very difficult for us non-Arabs. I don't know how easy it is for the Arabs to find, I don't know. I am wanting to ask, how easy? I said, look, Surah Zumar. How do you find it? Do you start paging through, you Arabs? How do you find it? Do you know where to find it? Or you just page through? So Surah Talaq. How do you find Surah Talaq? What do? Start paging through? Well, how do you find it? I don't know. I'm still going to ask the Sheikh, you know, when I have time, inshallah. But now, for the non-Arab, for us, if you have a translation like this particular one here, this is by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. I noticed that our brothers from Birmingham had taken the trouble to bring some over. This Yusuf Ali translation. At the back of this volume, this encyclopedia of 2,000 pages, there is a very comprehensive index. anybody gives you a name of a surah, it's a Surah Nisa. Maybe you know, but generally, just like in a dictionary, look under N, Nisa, it'll tell you chapter 4. Very easy to find. Every page is numbered. Chapter 4, ayah number 171, very easy to find. Allah says, this Quran is available in the foyer. They are £5 each. Wallah, they're very cheap. It's a wrong term, but we talk about hadiyah. Hadiyah, hadiyah means what gift you'll give me for this. Now, the man wants to know how much. So I said, look, the hadiyah is £5. So what's that? What's that? I said, no, the hadiyah, you know, the gift. He said, so what gift? I want to know how much, what price. So look, I said, don't waste time. I said, all right, look, it's £5. Take it, it's £5. I said, it's very cheap. Sorry, very cheap. Look at this Bible. I bought this from Birmingham, from a bookshop called Hudson's. This Bible here, I paid £9.95, £9.95. Just about £10. VAT, I think it was over £10. I paid for this. This one here, you get 2 for 10 rands. 10 pounds. Very cheap. You owe it to yourself and your children to have this in the house. It'll improve your English. You'll have better understanding of Allah's kalam, what Allah wants, and everything on your fingertips, whatever you want to know. You don't have to start fumbling. In this book, everything. You want to know about marriage under M. You want to know about divorce under D. You want to know about talaq. Look up. Talaq. This is chapter 39. Just like that. Everything. What you want to know. Don't start going along and say talaq, talaq, talaq. Go and look up what Allah says, how to do the job if you must. Look, it's there. But we don't consult the book. We heard from our fathers that when you get angry with your wife, what do you say? Talaq, talaq, talaq. Talaq, talaq is finished. Now she must marry another old man. Stay with him at least for a night. At least they must go into a place, position where they can have a relationship. That's a must. Then he must divorce again, and then you remarry her. I said, look, you fool, you made the mistake. Why punish the poor woman? What has she done? She is an innocent victim. Where's your sense, man? But no, you go through all this filth and dirt, filthiest, dirtiest thing that you can imagine, and you think you're a good Muslim because you didn't read the book. What do you want to know? You want to know about Jesus? Under J, open Jesus. See what it says. His birth. Open it and see. Wallah, everything on your fingertips. The birth of Jesus is described here. Whole chapter is dedicated. Surah Maryam, chapter Mary, chapter 19. The Christians have taken out a pamphlet. They said, you know, Jesus is spoken of in the highest terms, 13 different places, different titles. And they are challenging the Muslims to produce another personality with any of those 13 2 times to any person. I haven't tried. No need to. Now the question arises, look, all this about Jesus, that he is the word, the kalima, which Allah bestowed upon Mary, that he is the Masih, the Messiah, his Ruh, his this, his that. Shh. All these beautiful titles for Jesus, for Jesus, for Jesus. And a chapter, whole chapter, named after his mother, Maryam. Said, you see, this man, he deserves to be worshipped. He's God. Now, why is it that Allah mentions Jesus to that extent? Why is it that his mother's name has to be exonerated? That she is a virtuous woman? Why? Can you tell me? Tell me, why? Why so much about Jesus in the Quran and not about Muhammad? Why? Tell me, don't be afraid. Guess. Why? Yes, brother.
Because the Christians have a problem of finding out who Jesus really was.
Anybody else? Why? Jesus, you know, he's the Masih, he gave life to the dead, he did this, he did that, his mother was a wonderful woman, saintly woman. Why? One.
Because there is dispute between Christians.
Yes, my son.
Because the Christians say Jesus is son of God. Or that is
No, you see, there are so many allegations. There are so many allegations about Jesus and his mother, which needs to be clarified. So many charges. That's all right. That's all right. They say You see, there's a dispute. There has been a dispute about Jesus and his mother. There was no dispute about the parentage of Muhammad. No dispute. There's a dispute about Jesus. So Allah says in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse 171, Ya Ahlal Kitab, O people of the book, O Jews and Christians, La taghlu fi dinikum. Do not go to extremes in your religion. وَلَا تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْحَقِّ. And don't say anything about Allah except the truth. إِنَّمَا الْمَسِيحِ, most certainly the Messiah, translated Christ. إِنَّمَا الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى ibn Maryam, Jesus, son of Mary, Rasulullah, is the messenger of God. وَكَلِمَتُهُ, and a word proceeding from him. أَلْقَاهَا إِلَى مَرْيَمَ وَرُوحٌ مِّنْهُمْ, which he bestowed upon Mary, and a spirit proceeding from him. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرُسُولِهِ. So believe in Allah and his messenger. They are going to extremes. One says that because he's got no father, he is the illegitimate child of Mary. Walad zina. Astaghfirullah. This is what they say, the Jews, that he is an illegitimate child. The other says because he's got no father, his father is God. They're both going to extremes. So Allah tells us what is the true position is, that look, he is a true messenger of God. He is the word which Allah bestowed upon Mary. So believe in Allah and his messenger, Jesus, that he is a messenger of God. And because there are insinuations, allegations made against Maryam, the Quran comes to absolve her of all those filthy, dirty charges. The Jews, I wouldn't have quoted at all, wallah, what the Jews say. I just said illegitimate. I would not use the other word. But I have with me now an authority, and I'm glad also we are not in the masjid. This is in the precincts of the masjid, but this is the hall. Here is a book written by a leading Christian called Josh McDowell. He is the head of the Campus Crusade. Campus Crusade, universities. He goes to universities and he goes and delivers lectures to them.